Greetings, Earthling. Greetings, Earthling. And welcome back, or welcome. My name is Elle, and I'm here to help you to focus, and right here in the middle. Very good. Focus on your soul aesthetic, your soul aesthetic, your soul aesthetic, your soul aesthetic. The goal of my ASMR videos is always to help you to rest, reset, and connect. Rest, reset, and connect with me, with each other down below in the comment section. But most importantly, with yourself. This community is a safe space for everyone, and I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for clicking on this video. Out of all the videos on the interwebs, here we are. Thank you, bestie. Tonight's video is a book haul, and that was requested. I am so excited for this video. I feel like I'm a pretty reliable source of book recommendations. I don't know what I was gonna say. I feel like I'm a good book reader. I have good taste in books. I love books. Now, I feel like this is a good haul. I've ordered these over the course of like 4 months, so don't compare yourself, as always, to these hauls. They're not just all purchased in one day. And I just always don't want you to feel like I just ordered all. Let's see, there's gonna be like $15. I did not order these in one sitting. But I have to start off with some of these. I have read the back cover, of course, and then the first chapter of each of these. And then I kind of like rank them based on how interested I am in the story, like how hooked I am. Let me start with this one, because after I read chapter 1, I could not stop reading it. And then I read chapter 2. And then, before you know it, I would read it for like 5 hours while Thomas would play video games. We'd be like laying in bed and him playing video games on our TV. And me reading this. And I finished this book in 2 days, which, as much as I actually read for my job, which is all day, 10 hours a day, I don't really feel like reading a lot of the times. I love to read. I was such a bookworm growing up. But let's talk about Alice Feeney. She is insane. She is the queen of like twists and turns, and let's look at her really quick. This is a genius. a genius mastermind. If you buy one book from this book haul, one book, buy this book, rock, paper, scissors. God damn, you guys, this is one of the top 5 books that I've ever read in my life. As soon as I was done reading it, I wanted to read it again. I wanted to question myself and like think through the meaning of life, and like it did all the things to your brain that you want a book to do. It is fiction. It is a marriage thriller, which is kind of like a new genre to me. But oh my god. I don't know how she did it, but this book is genius. I don't want to spoil anything for you, and I won't. What I'm gonna do in this video is I'm gonna read the back of everything, so you'll get like the summary of the book and can kind of decide. You know what I'll do? I'll read the back and I'll read the first paragraph. I feel like that will give you a good idea of if it would grab you. But let's start with Rock, Paper, Scissors. One of the best books I've ever read. Can't wait to read it again. Look at this spine. My understanding is they're making this into a movie or TV show. I think it's like a Netflix movie. But I cannot wait. I really hope they get Penn Badgley to play the husband. I think he would be perfect. Or Thomas. But this is Alice Feeney's Rock, Paper, Scissors. Okay. The back says, think you know the person you married? Think again. Things have been wrong with Mr. and Mrs. Wright for a long time. Every anniversary, the couple exchange traditional gifts, and Adam's wife writes him a letter she never lets him read. Until now. Self-confessed workaholic Adam Wright has face blindness. He can't even recognize his own wife. And Amelia is sick of feeling unseen. When Adam and Amelia went a weekend away to Scotland, it might be just what their marriage needs. This weekend may make or break their marriage. But they didn't randomly win this trip. One of them is lying. And someone doesn't want them to live happily ever after. 10 years of marriage, 10 years of secrets, and an anniversary they will never forget. Entertainingly and grippingly suspenseful on every page. Chilling and clever with a twist so sharp you'll get whiplash, literally. Rock, Paper, Scissors is the kind of blistering one-sit read that Alice Feeney is just so incredibly good at. A disturbingly twisty domestic thriller. Whew, it's so good. Okay, let's read the first paragraph. February 2020. My husband doesn't recognize my face. I feel him staring at me as I drive and wonder what he sees. Nobody else looks familiar to him either, but it is still strange to think that the man I married wouldn't be able to pick me out in a police lineup. I know the expression his face is wearing without having to look. It's the sulky, petulant, I told you so version, so I concentrate on the road instead. I need to. The snow is falling faster now. It It's like driving in a whiteout, and the windscreen wipers on my Morris Minor Traveler are struggling to cope. The car, like me, was made in 1978. If you look after things, they will last a lifetime, but I suspect my husband might like to trade us both in for a younger model. Adam has checked his seatbelt 100 times since we left home, and his hands are balled into conjoined fists on his lap. The journey from London up to Scotland should have taken no more than 8 hours, but I daren't drive any faster in this storm. Even though it's starting to get dark and it seems we might be lost in more ways than one, can a weekend away save a marriage? Okay. This one I already included in a video. It is Tom Felton's Beyond the Wand, the magic and mayhem of growing up a wizard. And I'll read you the back in the first paragraph. I'm just so excited. Our favorite Slytherin, besides me. They stood 30 of us in a line. One of the adults, I would later find out that this was the director, Chris Columbus, went down the line asking each of us which part of the book we were most excited to see on screen. I remember being underwhelmed by the question. As the responses came, clear and certain, Hagrid, Fang, Quidditch, I remember standing there wondering if I could go home soon. It was only when it came to the turn of the kid next to me that I realized not only had I given the question zero thought, I had absolutely no idea what anybody was talking about. Who was Hagrid? What was a Quidditch? My neighbor announced that he was most excited to see Gringotts. There was no time to find out. Chris Columbus turned to me. What bit of the book are you most looking forward to seeing, Tom? I stalled. There was an awkward silence in the audition room. I save my most winning smile and point at the Gringotts guy. Same as him, mate, I said. Can't wait to see those Gringotts. There was a heavy pause. You mean you're looking forward to seeing Gringotts? The bank? Chris Columbus said. Oh yeah, I blacked quickly. The bank, can't wait. And then the first paragraph. I dedicate this book to the muggles who got me here. It says chapter 1 is undesirable number 1, or Draco's first scrape with the law, in which an embarrassing teenage episode highlights the difficulty of balancing an ordinary childhood with life on the big screen. And the foreword is by Emma Watson, which is very special, I think. Cards on the table. This is not going to be my proudest moment. In fact, my mom doesn't even know this story. So sorry, Mom. It's a busy Saturday afternoon in a bustling English town. Punters hurriedly go about their business, and clusters of teenagers haunt the shopping centers, doing what teenagers do. They pay no attention to a skinny 14-year-old boy with a pale complexion and bleached hair loitering in the vicinity, surrounded by his crew. The boy in question is yours truly, and I'm genuinely sorry to report that we had trouble in mind. Can't wait to read this one. It's just not the very top of my list. Now, this one, Stephen King's Fairy Tale, I think I've already shared as well, but just in case you missed that, I love how this looks like an eye, and I think I told you guys when I shared this that Thomas saw me looking at it at Books-A-Milli, and I was like, that looks kind of interesting, I don't know. And he was like, okay, let's get it. We check out, and we're walking out of Books-A-Milli, and I was like, I'm excited to read the Stephen King fairy book. And he was like, yeah, I'm excited to lay my head in your lap while you read it to me. My guys, my gays, my theys, my girls, it takes so little. Like, he probably doesn't realize like how romantic that is to a little bookworm like me, but I was like, okay, just read my soul then. Like, don't know of a more perfect thing you could say. I was excited. This is actually going to be my first Stephen King purchase, and I'm excited to give it a try because it's about fairies. It's not like a murdery, super scary book, so it's a big boy. Big boy. Let's see. I'm sure I can tell this story. I'm also sure no one will believe it. That's fine with me. Telling it will be enough. My problem, and I'm sure many writers have it, not just newbies like me, is deciding where to start. My first thought was with the shed, because that's where my adventures really began. But then I realized I would have to tell about Mr. Bowditch first, and how we became close. Only that never would have happened except for the miracle that happened to my father. A very ordinary miracle, you could say, one that's happened to many thousands of men and women since 1935. But it seemed like a miracle to a kid. Only that isn't the right place either, because I don't think my father would have needed a miracle if it hadn't been for that goddamn bridge. So that's where I need to start, with the goddamn Sycamore Street Bridge. And now, thinking of those things, I see a clear thread leading up through the years to Mr. Bowditch and the padlocked shed behind his ramshackle old Victorian. But a thread is easy to break. So not a thread, but a chain. A strong one. And I was the kid with the shackle clamped around his wrist. Okay. And always let your conscience be your guide. Blue Fairy. The goddamn bridge. The miracle. The howling. I'm sure I can tell this story. I'm sure no one will believe it. Oh, okay. Claim Charlie. Yep. Okay, that was the first paragraph. Several. In fact. So I'm excited for this one. It's probably not very next, but neither is this one. It's called The Lavendar Haze by June Bates, Sapphic Poetry. And the back says, she is the most exquisite torture, hellfire I can put my hands on, and I'm ready to burn. Now, I ordered this because I saw people on TikTok saying that it could be Taylor Swift. Why did I order this? That it could be like her pen name as a poet, and it sounds a lot like her songs. And then I've also seen some TikTok saying like it's obviously just a Swiftie who's writing poetry. So let's read the first one. It says, for the girls who fall in love quickly and often, Trigger warning. Brief mentions of homophobia and sexism. Okay. The lavender haze. The high and the heights. Sweetness and hunger. The blooming part. Love's equivalent to spring. Reaching for her hand in front of everyone without thinking. I was drowning. I was choking on my life. I was underwater for years before I met you. It's very, very beautiful. I'm excited for my new little poetry book. Whether Taylor Swift wrote it or not, I highly doubt she did. But I liked the vibe of what people were sharing from the book, so I'm glad I purchased it. This one I also showed in an October video. It's called Wild Witchcraft. Folk herbalism, garden magic, and foraging for spells, rituals, and remedies. Learn how to cultivate your own magical garden. Begin your journey with folk herbalism and feel at home in nature. Witchcraft is wild at heart, calling us into a relationship with the untamed world around us. Through developing a connection with plants and by authentically interacting with the earth. A witch, beginner or experienced, can practice their art more deeply, bridging the gap between modern practitioners and the hedge witches of old. Wild Witchcraft will empower you to work directly with a wide variety of plants and trees safely and sustainably. Author Rebecca Byer draws from her years of experience as an Appalachian witch and forager to give you a practical guide to herbalism and natural magic that will share the history of witchcraft and Western herbalism, how to create and maintain your own herbal garden, recipes for tinctures, teas, salves, and other potions to use in rites and rituals, remedies for self-healing, foraging basics, rituals to celebrate the turning of the seasons, and much more. Wild Witchcraft welcomes us home to the natural worlds we all dwell in by exploring practical folk, herbal, and magical rites grounded in historical practices and a sustainable green ethic. And there she is, our Appalachian witch. I just love that the front has a dandelion with a skull in it. Okay, let's read the first paragraph. The legacy, a history of witchcraft. In an age of epic consumption and ecological destruction, it's difficult to imagine a life way more connected with the land we live on. It's also sometimes difficult to imagine we have the capacity and the power to heal ourselves and others. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a purist. I use Western medicine alongside herbalism because I've seen they aren't mutually exclusive. They often complement and aid each other. It's important to note the history of our medicine in the West led us to Next up is Jennette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died. She's holding the urn. Her face is like petty at sending me. We stand Jennette McCurdy. Okay, let's see. There's no like summary on the back. Let me check the front flap. Yes, okay. A heartbreaking and hilarious memoir by iCarly and Sam and Cat star Jennette McCurdy about her struggles as a former child actor, including trigger warning, EDs, addiction, and a complicated relationship with her overbearing mother, and how she retook control of her life. Let's see. Chapter 1. The prologue. The present in front of me is wrapped in Christmas paper, even though it's the end of June. We have so much paper left over from the holidays because Grandpa got the dozen roll set from Sam's Club, even though Mom told him a million times that it wasn't even that good of a deal. I peel, don't rip off the paper, because I know Mom likes to save a wrapping paper scrap from every present, and if I rip instead of peel, the paper won't be as intact as she'd like it to be. Dustin says Mom's a hoarder, but Mom says she just likes to preserve the memories of things, so I peel. I look up at everyone watching. Grandma's there, with her poofy perm and her button nose and her intensity, the same intensity that always comes out when she's watching someone open a present. She's so invested in where gifts come from, the price of them, whether they were on sale or not. She must know these things. This is gonna be good. This next one is a bookish romantics rom-com, and it is called Awkward in October by Teresa. Yeah. My name is Theodora Dye. I'm single and live with my parents. I may be existing, but I sure as hell am not thriving. I want more out of life before resigning myself to decrepit spinsterhood. I want adventures and mistakes, balmy summer nights, and stirring rooftop conversations. I want a beautiful romance. Like something ripped straight out of the pages of The Witch of Blackbird Pond, my favorite book of all time. But that's all wishful thinking until I commit to a dramatic change. So I quit my job, purchased a cheap old house sight unseen, and booked a one-way ticket to Connecticut, where autumn is in full swing and Halloween is just around the corner. I may be living my best life, but I'm in over my head. My fixer-upper is falling apart, and my big stupid gesture is sucking my bank account dry. Fortunately, my grumpy neighbor, Carter, knows a thing or two about repairing money bits. His words, not mine. He's perfectly practical in every way. I'm a hopeless romantic, or as opposite as two people can be. But unbeknownst to him or me, in October, any wonderful, unexpected thing might be possible. Even the beginning of a beautiful romance. I read chapter 1 of this book and it did not impress me at all. It was depressing me. So read you the first page since there's like really short paragraphs, which I also cannot stand. No little girl dreams of a career as a doormat. Doctor, yes. Astronaut, okay. A female CEO of a Fortune 500 company, yes please. Appeals and grievance specialist 3 in a health insurance company. How do I really feel about my job? I don't mind it, actually. I'm good at what I do. A less cheerful person would have broken down by now. I've been here since I was a starry-eyed 22-year-old college grad with a mountain of student debt. This was only supposed to be a temporary job until the recession blew over and I find something to do with my art history degree. I specialize in early colonial furniture making. That's gotta be in high demand, right? I turn 32 tomorrow, which officially means I've been here for 10 years. Yay? But seriously, this job has its perks. The health insurance is not great. See the irony there? But there's stability, and the pay is good. Better than you'd think. I look forward to lunch. I look forward to lunch. Like, no thanks. That one will be read last. The like smarminess I can't stand. This one though was really cute and I cannot wait to read it. And I like that the little cartoons kind of look like whatever those avatars we used to make in the 90s. You know what I'm talking about. And I just want to tell you, I just need to tell you that Becky Monson is my bitch. Okay, listen to her author summary. Becky Monson is a mother of 3 and a wife to 1, but would ditch them all for Henry Cavill. I love you so much. I stan. Same. So this is a pumpkin spice and not so nice by Becky Monson. It's described as the perfect fall read. If I were ever to write a memoir, it would be titled Jenna Peterson's Guide to Dating Emotionally Unavailable Men. I'm like a professional at it. I'm so good I can take any dysfunctional man and turn him into Prince Charming just in time for him to dump me and then go on to marry the next woman he dates. I'm about ready to give up on loving real men and focus on lusting over fictional men and the Turkish dramas I can't stop devouring. But then I find a mysterious $50 bill with a handwritten note on it that was donated to my family's pumpkin patch by accident. And when you know it, the mystery man it belongs to is emotionally unavailable, albeit freakishly attractive. I keep telling myself to walk away, but there's something about Aidan St. Clair that makes me want to unravel all his secrets. All I know is he sure can heat up the cozy fall nights. I can't help myself but thinking maybe this time I'll get to keep Prince Charming for myself. So this one's more towards the top of the list. It was really well written and the first chapter really pulled me in and I just found it so relatable. Chapter 1. Jenna Peterson's Guide to Dating Emotionally Unavailable Men. When dating an emotionally unavailable man, get ready for disappointment because there's going to be a lot of it. Well, I guess that settles it. I'm cursed. There's no other explanation for it. along with their parents, Cameron Wade Jacobson and Caitlin Elizabeth Bristow, are pleased to announce another wedding invitation for another ex-boyfriend's nuptials. There have been 4 over the last year. Matthew, Brian, Garrett, and now Cam. This one from Cam has peonies on it. My favorite flower, and it's in Cabo. I've always dreamed of a destination wedding. It's like pouring salt in a wound and then squeezing some lemon juice on it for good measure. Okay. This one is a book 1 and a book 2. So this one is the first in the series, and then The Kiss Curse is next. And these are both by Aaron Sterling. I saw these on Book Talk. The Ex Hex and The Kiss Curse. So obviously I'm gonna read this one first. Chapter 1 was amazing. It was so good. Never mix vodka with witchcraft. 9 years ago, Vivian Jones nursed her broken heart like any young witch would. Vodka, weepy music, bubble baths, and a curse on the horrible boyfriend. Sure, Vivi knows she wouldn't use her magic this way, but with only an orchard hayride scented candle on hand, she isn't worried it will cause him anything more than a bad hair day or 2. That is until Reese Penhallow, descendant of the town's ancestors, breaker of hearts, and annoyingly just as gorgeous as he always was, returns to Graves Glen, Georgia. What should be a quick trip to recharge the town's ley lines and make an appearance at the annual fall fair turns disastrously wrong. With one calamity after another striking Reese, Vivi realizes her silly little Ex Hex may not have been so harmless after all. Suddenly, Graves Glen is under attack from murderous wind-up toys, a pissed-off ghost, and a talking cat with some interesting things to say. Vivi and Reese have to ignore their off-the-charts chemistry to work together to save the town and find a way to break the breakup curse before it's too late. And then it has The Kiss Curse coming soon on the back. Never mix vodka and witchcraft. Vivi knew that. Not only had her Aunt Elaine said it about 1,000 times, but it was also printed on dish towels and t-shirts and ironically shot glasses in Something Wicked, the store Aunt Elaine ran in downtown Graves Glen, Georgia. It might have actually been the closest thing the Jones family had to a family motto. But Vivi reasoned as she sank deeper into the bathtub and took another slurp of her vodka and cranberry concoction her cousin Gwen had made her. There had to be exceptions for broken hearts. And hers currently felt very thoroughly broken. Shattered, maybe. Little bitty pieces of heart rattling around in her chest, all because she got sucked in by a cute accent and a pair of very blue eyes. So, I haven't even read the back of this one. This is a book 2 in the series. And instead of the back being about Vivi, it's about Gwen. So I don't think it'll ruin anything to read it. The follow-up to Aaron Sterling's New York Times best-selling hit, The Ex Hex, features a fan favorite, Gwen, and the spine-tingly handsome Wells Penhallow as they battle a new band of witches and their own magical chemistry. Gwen Jones is perfectly happy with her life in Graves Glen. She and her mom and her cousin have formed a new and powerful coven. She's running a successful witchcraft shop, something wicked, and she started mentoring some of the younger witches in town. As Halloween approaches, there's only one problem. Llewellyn Wells Benello. Wells has come to Gravesglen to re-establish his family's connection to the town they founded, and to make a new life for himself after years of being the dutiful son in Wales. When he opens up a shop of his own, Benello's, just across the street from something wicked, he quickly learns he's gotten more than he bargained for in going up against Gwen. When their professional competition leads to a very personal and very hot kiss, both Wells and Gwen are determined to stay away from each other, convinced the kiss was just a magical fluke. But when a mysterious new coven of witches comes to town and Gwen's powers begin fading, she and Wells must work together to figure out just what these new witches want and how to restore Gwen's magic before it's too late. And this is Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. And the back says, "And the nightmare didn't end after Christmas." Jack and Sally are truly meant to be, or are they? Sally Skellington is the official newly minted Pumpkin Queen after a whirlwind courtship with her true love, Jack. Sally adores Jack with every inch of her fabric seams. If only she could say the same for her new role as Queen of Halloween Town. Cast into the spotlight and tasked with all sorts of queenly duties, Sally can't help wondering if she's traded her captivity under Dr. Finkelstein for a different, albeit gilded, cage. But when Sally and Zero accidentally uncover a long hidden doorway to an ancient realms called Dreamtown, she unknowingly sets in motion a chain of sinister events that will put her future as Pumpkin Queen and the future of Halloween Town itself in jeopardy. Can Sally discover what it means to be true to herself and save the town she's learned to call home? Or will her future turn into her worst, well, nightmare? I sense there's something in the wind that feels like tragedies at hand. At the crisp, inky hour of midnight, Jack and I are married atop Spiral Hill in the Death's Door Cemetery. Wind stirs the bone-dry leaves, and Jack takes my soft ragdoll hands in his, the coolness of his fingers calming the flutter rippling across my stitched seams. The mayor stands broad-chested before us, officiating the ceremony, his face alternating between corkscrew-eyed elation and pale, ghastly tears, while we speak our vows to each other in the grim custom of ancient wedding eulogies. That one's gonna be really good, I think. Okay, I've got 2 books left. This first one is a Dungeons and Dragons novel. The last 2 you saw me buy in my perfect fall day vlog. So, this is called Dragons of Deceit. Dragons of Deceit. Dragonlance Destinies, Volume 1 by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. There's the cover. And the back says, I love Dragonlance and I love Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, Plain and simple, their books are my favorite fantasy series of all time. I love the stories and ideas, but most of all, I love the characters. Why do we feel like we know them? They are what spurred me to start working for D&D, and what inevitably inspired me to pursue a career in show running. Dustina Rosethorn, as her name implies, believes herself to be a favorite child of destiny. But when her father dies in the War of the Lands, she watches her carefully constructed world come crashing down. She loses not only her beloved father, but also the legacy he has left her. The family lands and castle. To save her father, she hatches a bold plan to go back in time and prevent his death. First, she has to secure the device of time journeying, last known to be in possession of the spirited Kender Tasseloff Burfoot. But to change time, she'll need another magical artifact, the most powerful and dangerous artifact ever created. Dustina's quest takes her from the dwarven kingdom of Thorbarden to the town of Solus and beyond, setting in motion a chain of disastrous events that threaten to divert the course of the river of time, alter the past, and forever change the future. This last book is so cute and aesthetic. It, first of all, is like pink and Tiffany blue and red. But also, I remember reading the description and feeling like, oh, that is so different and spicy. And like, I've never seen a book summary like this before. So this is A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. The last two letters were covered. I hadn't even flicked on the light when two firm knocks shook my door. Quickly, and with sparks of electricity strumming through my veins, I rushed over and opened the door. Nolan, his lips pursed and his whole body vibrating with determination, stepped inside without waiting for an invitation. "Are you trying to kill me?" His words came out like a painful accusation. "No," I squeaked. "Yes. No." "Well, then what is it?" he asked with a desperate urgency. "I don't know," I said helplessly, "but maybe we just need to get it out of our system." It, as in this, us. The quotes say, "Let's go get the shit kicked out of us by love, Sam, Love Actually. This year, you're my only wish. Babe, you're on my naughty list. Ink, naughty list." Okay. Welcome to Christmas Notch, Vermont. "A tusk," he repeated, just to make sure he'd heard right. "A wooden tusk," the voice clarified. Teddy heard the whoosh of traffic and the sound of a car door closing. Why was it that managers and agents were always going places when they called? Did they save all their phone calls for their commutes? 3 broken arms, 2 broken legs, and 5 concussions between the 4 of them, Stephen DeRezo finished Teddy looked down at his desk, an acrylic thing his ex-wife had gotten him from IKEA before the divorce. A very stressful production schedule looked back up at him. He looked away from it, trying to focus on the picture of his two kids grinning from within his arms, their tiny hands clutching the tiny pumpkins he'd bought for them at the pumpkin patch that day. They used to be so little and so inexpensive. Okay, so you're telling me that my entire costume and hair team went into the desert and stood under a wooden tusk, which then collapsed on top of them, and now they can't work on the movie, which starts tomorrow. Costume team, hair team, and your gaffer, Teddy. And there's no need to sound so judgmental about the wooden tusk. It was on a giant wooden walrus sculpture, after all. Don't you know anything about festivals? Haven't you been to Burning Man? So, that is it for this book haul, bestie. Thank you for loving books with me. Speaking of us loving books together, I will do chapter 2 very soon. Don't worry, I have not read it without you. But rock, paper, scissors, there was just no hope. I'll read it again. If you want me to read that one chapter by chapter, we will. We will, but don't worry, we're gonna finish Love in the Time of Serial Killers too. And until next time, and in case I don't see you, if you're still awake, please, I am begging, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Leave a comment, leave a like. I filmed for 9 hours today. I think I've gotten 6 videos done, and it's literally my honor to do it, and I have so much fun doing it. I just wish that I could clone myself and do it more. And I'm also still mad that my 3 videos I filmed the other night didn't have working sound. That was really cute. That was a cool feature of the simulation that day. Thanks, everyone. But yeah, I would love to have you join us. Earthling, we come in peace. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss any videos where I give away free squishmallows, or monster high dolls, or pastel haunted houses, etc. Lots of stuff I'm gonna give away on the channel this holiday season. I just want to give back to you guys for your time and let you know how loved you are. So until next time, and in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening,